SEO and paid ads and running our analytics. I'm a former high school teacher in science and social studies. And the thing that draws me to this part of business, the digital marketing aspect, is it's a lot like the scientific method. Hypothesize, test, evaluate, and repeat. May one recap. For those of you that weren't able to make that, we did a high-level overview of what digital marketing is. We talked about SEO, we talked about paid ads, we talked about email and SMS messaging, and we went over common mistakes. Today, we're going to build and develop the website. SEO and paid ads, building on the foundation. This is a deeper builder level style presentation on SEO and paid ads, focused on strategy and execution. We're going to introduce a new metaphor, building a house. We'll cover SEO as the structure and framing, paid ads as tools to help you move a little further, and additional assets like programs, software to increase transparency and make smarter decisions to achieve better results. Your homepage, your website. This is the foundation of everything you do digitally. It is the navigational beacon for anyone that comes to your website. It's most of the time the first page someone sees about you. If they find you on Google, typically going to reach your homepage. If they click a link and it's not where they want to go on that site, they're more than likely going to revert back to the homepage. All of your SEO is framed from this page. So, business marketing quote: what gets measured gets managed. And that comes from a guy, his name is Peter Drucker. He was a thought leader, business leader, and author. And it's just a very true quote that if you want to achieve results on anything, you have to analyze it and manage it in order to move the direction you want to go. Caveat: if you measure the wrong thing, you're going to go down the wrong path. Similar to a broken compass. If it's next to metal or a magnet, you're going to get the wrong heading and you're not going to follow that true north. Or it could be like reading a blueprint wrong. If you read it as 12 feet and it's supposed to be 12 inches, you're going to order too much material, and vice versa. You're not going to order enough. A case study on this, it comes from NASA. They launched a Mars orbiter. It went out to space, skipped off the atmosphere. It was $320 million worth of investment gone, disappeared in a second. The engineering firm, I forget if it was Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman, they gave their units an Imperial. NASA and the JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, they took it as SI units, and those are different. And when they ran the calculations, they sent the orbiter off to Mars. It didn't equate. They measured the wrong thing. And we have a lost orbiter somewhere in space now. SEO, framing the foundation. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. Another business leader, Jim Rohn, attributed to this. Once you have your website, you have to have good SEO practices in order for it to work. We talked about this on May 1st. Your H1 tags, your good URLs, page titles, meta descriptions, call to actions. You have to be following the basic SEO fundamentals in order for you to rank on Google. So what exactly do we measure on our website? Well, I'm going to talk about these 5 things: our clicks, our impressions, our click-through rate, the position, and keyword research. Clicks are just clicks. It's self-explanatory, but it's how many times someone clicks the blue link on Google. An impression is how many times it shows up. So when you're scrolling through Google and you spend a certain amount of time on the page, that link shows up on your analytics dashboard as an impression. Click-through rate, clicks divided by impressions. 1 click, 100 impressions, 1% click-through rate. 1 click, 10 impressions, 10% click-through rate. You can use that as a gauge to determine what people are clicking on when they search or when it shows up on Google. Position. This is where the page ranks on Google. It can be an aggregate, meaning it could be over your entire site, or it could be down to individual pages. But it's tracked and you can measure it to see where you land on the search results page. And search volume, we'll get into creating content and creating pages for your website using keyword research. So the tools that we're going to talk about today, Google Search Console. This is how your website shows up on Google. Google Analytics or GA4. That's what they do once they're there or how they get there. Rank Math. This is an SEO plugin for your website. Keyword research. We're going to talk about Search Atlas today, but if you use SEMrush or Ahrefs, they're similar and they all do the same thing, just interfaced a little differently. GSE, Google Search Console. It's your URL or link behavior on Google. You can look at trends over time. There's comparison tools, and you can look at the specific date for clicks, impressions, click-through rate, and position. This example comes from the company that I work for, our GSC profile. So there's blue and purple. That's our legend. On the graph, we have a blue line and a purple line. The purple is the impressions. The blue line is the clicks. This is a 28-day, that's their default is 28 days, overview over time. And we can see that we have a weekly cadence. Down at the bottom are all of our weekends. All of the spikes are all of our weekdays. Since we're in healthcare, in anesthesia, hospital, surgery centers, they don't do a whole lot of looking and purchasing on the weekends. So what we see here is normal. If you have a business that has some seasonality to it, you might want to pay attention. Nurseries probably have spikes in April, May, June, probably drop-offs in November, December, January. And you can use this to look at your impressions and how you're moving throughout the week. Same thing with your clicks. You can compare. So you can look at the last time frame to the previous time frame. So this is the last 3 months over the previous 3 months. So 3 months ago starts the solid line. We see here we have a solid line and a dash line. The solid line was from yesterday to 3 months ago, and the dash line is from the day before then to 3 months prior. So we went up about 200,000 impressions over that time. That's a good thing. What people are searching for, we're showing up. Position. Google tracks where you rank on its pages. When you scroll to the bottom, there's page 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes all the way across. It tracks that. Page 1 of Google is position 1 through 10. Page 2 is 21 through 30. Page 3 is 31 through 40. And page 4 is 31 through 40. So our average position is 18.5. So that puts us at the bottom of page 2 on average. That means half of our web pages are above that and half of our pages are below that. Not a bad place to be. Because the further up the ladder you go, closer to page 1, the more competition there is. Okay. You can put all of these pieces together and get a chart that looks like this. This is a 90-day comparison. And it doesn't mean much. It looks like a bunch of squiggly lines. But we can look at the specific day and compare pieces to that day. So this is day 72. So in this 9-month period, in the previous period, that 72nd day for both those periods are outlined here. And we can see our clicks, our impressions, click-through rate, and position. Our clicks have gone up, our impressions have gone up, and our click-through rate dropped just fractionally. Our average position has also gone up by almost a single link. This tells us that it's working. The SEO that we have performed on our website is working. Google is picking it up, and this is relatively flat. Because of our large increase of impressions, we had a marginal increase in clicks, which is why our click-through rate dropped just by 0.1. That's not terrible. It's dropped. Might need to look at that over the next month or two, see if we're dropping further, but everything has pretty much remained flat or increased. Google Analytics. So that's Google Search Console. That's how Google indexes your site and how it ranks. Google Analytics, we can look at our traffic sources or our acquisition or user acquisition, human behavior, demographics, or on-page data. This is a more detailed report, a more detailed view of what's going on in your website. Another chart. Over here on the left, we have our channels, our sources. Organic search is organic. When you type something into Google, you appear, someone clicks on it. Direct, that's when someone types in your web address into the search bar and finds you. Unassigned, Google doesn't know where it really came from. There's no attribution to assign it to. Paid search is paid search, and display is little pop-ups or ads that you might appear on other websites. This is an attribution model. So when you set up your website, you can have conversions or key events that trigger. This is what GA4 does better than GSC. So when you set up these key events, you can come into GA4 and you can look at how people came to your website. And the percentages is what the algorithm is attributing to that key event. So up top here, people came to us organically, and we had 8 key events. They found us, they saw what they were looking for, they filled out a form, or they made a purchase. Those are our only 2 key events. Number 2, 3 people found us organically twice. They saw us, they left, they came back. Down here at the bottom, 1 person came to us organically twice, and they found an ad for us twice. And Google is attributing that 100% as the key factor for conversion. And we have that noted right there. Okay, so that's GSC and GA4. Now we're moving on to some of the tools. Rank Math. This is a plugin for your website on WordPress that optimizes the web page. You can create a focus keyword to create page title and meta description cohesion, and it gamifies it. It scores it out of 100. So you kind of know if you're improving or what you need to do to be better. On the right-hand side, we see some check marks, some X's. Those are how they're letting you know if what you're doing is working or not. And you can see up top in that green box, it says 81 out of 100. Anything over 80 is green. Anything below that is yellow, red. So last fall, I went through our website we had 667 plus pages. And I went through and I got us down to 400. That image on the left from 10/17/2024 shows where the rank math had us. 576 pages had no data, which means rank math, our site was too big, it couldn't crawl over the entire website, and I had to go to each page individually and check it and work on it in order for rank math to score it. As of 5/15, we have an average score of 70. So we went from an average score of 4, but a lot of them had no data, to now we have an average score of 70. 124 are good and 254 are yellow. Those are ones that we need to work on, increase content, increase word count, make some slight changes to pump that number up a little bit. Again, it has search traffic, search impressions, total keywords, average position, things you will find in GSC and GA4, but this is not proprietary to Google. It's its own deal. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. It's guessing, more or less. Google is your source of truth. Use those properties to really find out what's going on for your website in Google. So we have an example here. Our focus keyword, StimPod 450X nerve stimulator. It's our main nerve stimulator that we sell. You put in that focus keyword, and with that blue box on the upper right-hand corner says generate with AI. Instead of trying to come up with page titles and meta descriptions, that's 2 fields for every page. And if we have 400 pages, that's 800 fields I have to fill in manually. With AI, it will generate those for us, and we can edit them with what it outputs. So it takes the painstaking process of trying to think about what you want it to say, how you want it to read, what's the best word to use. It'll do that for you. So for large websites, it's a saving grace. Keyword research. This is for websites that are creating content or updating pages. It's important to find search volume. You can type queries or searches into these tools like Search Atlas or SEMrush, and it will give you information on that keyword. So if you act like you are a customer or a potential client and you type something into these software or these programs, you can see if it's what shows up or if you need to refine your search. You can view your competition, your projected cost per click. You can check history or seasonality, and you can look up related keywords. Cost per click, those are for your paid ad campaigns. So if you're thinking about running a paid ad, you can use this keyword research to determine if it's worth running an ad for. This is an example of Search Atlas. Up top, we have the query, anesthesia nerve stimulator. That's a pretty general query, which tells us the keyword difficulty is hard. There's a lot of companies that make anesthesia nerve stimulators. So it's going to be difficult to rank just for that word. We can see our cost per click. Again, this is guessing, but it's going to be about $2. In actuality, I think it's closer to 3.5 to 5, but it's not too far off. And we have historical search volume. So it's a 12-month running total of search volume. So if you're in a seasonal business, or if there's something unique about your business, you can check to see what people are searching and what the volume is on that. And these are monthly averages. So 50, 70, 50, 50. We have a spike in January of 110. Gives you an idea of what people are doing for those keywords. Okay. Any questions over SEO before we get into paid ads? Okay. You're seeing ads without realizing it. Paid ads are quick tools to get customers to where you want them to go. So if you're making a lead gen, a form fill, you can run paid ads directly to that page to get them to fill out the form. Run ads in line with your industry or brand. We're going to talk a little bit about some specific Google ads here in a little bit, but when you run ads, make sure you're running the ads that you want people to follow. We'll get into native ads, but here's an example of some native ads. These are articles. When I open up Firefox, this shows up as suggested readings or suggested articles. We see the word sponsored. Those are ads. They look just like articles. And if you click on them, they'll almost be an article or a quiz or something to fill out. And at the end, you'll have to give your email, your phone number, capture all this information, and someone's going to call you and you'll get a whole bunch of emails. But when you run ads and you run native ads, they show up natively in context. Okay, so we talked about SEO metrics. Paid ad metrics aren't that much different, but there's a couple nuances. Cost per click. You only pay for an ad when someone clicks. It doesn't matter how many times you show up, you only pay when someone clicks. Quality score. If you show up a lot and no one clicks, you're going to get dinged. And they won't serve that ad as frequently. Your quality score depends on your ad copy, your landing page, how relevant it is to certain queries. That all goes into the quality score. And conversions. We've talked about key events. Conversions are pretty much the same thing. When someone clicks, what do they do next? Do they call? Do they book something? Do they fill out a form? Do they make a purchase? Those are all conversions that you can track from your paid ads. Paid ads as tools. Okay. Tools in the right hands of the right person makes jobs easier. A wrench in the hands of a plumber will fix a leak. In the hands of a toddler will put a hole in your wall. Don't run ads because you need to solve a continual problem. If your problem is not enough leads, you don't want to run ads for that because that means your business isn't working effectively. If you're not closing enough deals, don't run ads to close more deals because that's a process that needs improvement. Run ads to enhance something that's already working. So if you're a business and you're really great at like a office firm, you're really great at getting books, bookkeeping. You can run ads for bookkeeping services and you will retain clients that way. But if you're not good at it, and you're losing customers and you run ads, you're going to continually to lose customers. This is like a laser level. Don't go out and buy a $500,000 laser level to put up a picture. You can put up a picture with a simple spirit level or an analog level. And once you find out how to use that, make sure everything's plumb, make sure everything's square, then you can go out and get the laser level to put up a grid of pictures. Types of paid ads. We're going to go over two specific ads today. Those are our search ads and those are our social ads. Search ads, what you will find in Google, Yahoo, Bing. Social ads are Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, TikTok. We talked briefly about native ads. They show up there on the Firefox image. They also show up in Yahoo News or Apple News. And display ads are typically in newsletters or forums. So the two types of Google ads that we're going to be focused on today, text ads and local ads. Your local service ad, your local map ad. There's also product ads for images of shoes, shorts, shirts. But we won't get into those because it could be down the rabbit hole if we talk about everything. Text ads. This top one here, it's called a site link extension. It doesn't cost any more necessarily, it just gives you a bigger footprint. You can add multiple links, you can see what's converting, book an appointment, CFO for hire, tax services, right? You know, you can run essentially multiple ads or have multiple landing pages on a single ad. Down here at the bottom is a standard or a text ad that looks just like SERP or a search engine results image. You have the blue link, you have your detailed meta description down there, but it's an ad. They all say sponsored next to them. Local ads. We have our local ads up here and we have another site link down below. But as we look at the left box, we have message, book, get a phone number. Those are all different types of conversions they have. And over here on the local map ad, if you use around me, near me, or some sort of geography, you get a different type of ad. And you have website interactions. So if you're a retail business, you might want to run a local map ad so people know where to find you. And when they use their phone, they'll get directions directly to your retail store. Social ads, they appear organically in the feed. They look like posts. They appear at the bottom on Instagram, or they could just be another video that appears. As you're scrolling through, you'll see a content creator ad, content creator ad. They'll algorithmically put ads in front of you depending on your activity. I did an audit of my Facebook feed. These were the top 10 posts on my Facebook feed. Ad, group, a friend post, a group post, another ad, an algorithm push, a friend ad, a page I follow, or a friend post, a page I follow, then another ad. 4 ads, 10 posts. Now, algorithm, when social media finds pieces of content that have high engagement, they will push it out to non-followers. And what that does is that creates artificial virality. So people see it, they like it, comment on it, and posts go viral. But it's not the same viral that was 20 years ago when people were sharing links via email. The system is pushing it to keep people engaged, to keep people on their site so they can serve more ads. On the left, we have a Facebook ad. On the right, we have a LinkedIn ad. They look pretty benign. They look like a post. But as you can see, underneath the linear B, it says sponsored, and underneath ad roll, it says promoted. Those are ads. They're not posts. They are posts, but they're not people posting organically. They're making these ads and they're sharing them on social media. Just because you have a paintbrush doesn't mean you're Michelangelo. Just because you run ads doesn't mean they will convert. We talked about using paid ads as tools. Tools in the right hands will yield good results. If you do it incorrectly, they will end up being poor results. Ads will always cost you money. It's up to you to optimize them. You'll mess up a few times. You'll pay for ads that don't convert, and you'll go back, you'll edit your landing page, you'll edit your ad copy, you'll edit your call to actions. You can run A/B test on them, which is you serve 2 different ads to 2 different people or even to the same person. And if one shows up and they don't click, and the other one shows up and they do click, you can test those against each other, impressions and clicks. Okay, Google Ads Transparency Center. Google provides full disclosure on all the ads. It evens the playing field for everybody. So you can go, you can look at your old ads, you can look at your competitors' ads. Over here we have Burger King. Burger King has an infinite page full of ads for all of their locations, but they're all archived. you can go back and look at all the ads that were ever ran for any company through the Google Transparency Center. So, how do you know which ad to use? This information up here is my hunch. It's not really rooted in anything. It's how I perceive the paid ad world. So take this as you wish. Home service. If you're a home service company, you're more than likely going to use some Google local ads with a touch of social. You're more than likely going to be doing local service ads, local map ads, and probably do some social, especially if you make videos or if you create content. If you're business to business, you're probably just going to do all Google. You might have some social on LinkedIn or somewhere else sporadically, but your primary ad is going to be Google. Direct to consumer. You're going to be less Google, more social, because you want that quick, instant purchase. So for Christmas, it was Christmas, but there was a social ad that I saw. It was a little box. You can put a picture on it. You can press the button and it plays our wedding song. I saw it. I was scrolling through socials. I saw it. I liked it. I purchased it. You would still want some Google, because if someone leaves that platform and goes to Google you, you still might want a little presence on Google. B2C, business to consumer. So these are your retail shops, your brick and mortars, restaurants. You're going to be running mostly local ads with some social event or promo ads. So Mother's Day, there was a lot of brunch specials, spa days, Father's Day is coming up, a lot of golf ads on socials. So if you're B2C, that's probably a 70-30 split is what I would do. Key takeaways: build to last. Your website is not going to go anywhere as long as you have your business. So make sure it's strong. Don't just put up 1,000 blog pages to increase your search results, but make the intent. Use the keyword research. Look at your clicks. Look at your click-through rates. SEO is your framework. Paid ads are your tools or your upkeep. That if you want someone to fill out a form for services, place it correctly. Lead them directly to that page. Choose the right strategy for your stage of growth. References. So for newsletters, you can look at SEJ or the Search Engine Journal. There's also Search Engine Land. There's a whole bunch of other ones too. Just go find digital marketing newsletters. They'll show up. Classes. SEMrush, HubSpot, they all have courses you can take about their product that help with keyword research. Books, self-taught. You can go to YouTube videos, find content creators. I read Get to the Top of Google. That was by Tim Cameron Kitchen. That was from last fall. And you can do social media follows, Facebooks, webinars like this. There's a guy local in St. Louis. His name's Adam McChesney. He has about 7,000 followers. Josh Nelson, he wrote the book Seven Figure Agency. And Alex Hormozy owns acquisition.com, close to $1 billion company. So that concludes everything for me. If you want to follow me, find me on Facebook, find me on LinkedIn. July 31st, we'll talk a little more about SEO and using AI.
So we have a question.
Great.
How long do you recommend running an A/B test on paid ad content before determining which version to continue?
At least 30 days.
Okay.
30 days would be a good A/B test. It should give you enough information. If results are inconclusive, go another 15 to 30 days, see if anything changes. Because I don't know what service you're in or what product you're offering, but if there's any seasonality in it, if it's around Christmas, that'll last for 4 to 5+ days. So you want to at least try and get through a season before you determine what ad to pick.
I'll ask a question.
Sure.
SEO, so
Yeah.
you talked about you had 600 and something pages.
Yep.
Down to 400. Were a lot of those like old blog pages that needed to be retired or?
Nope, I don't retire blog pages.
Okay.
They're, yep, so no, I would, any page unless it's completely irrelevant. So blog pages are completely relevant because they're date and time stamped.
Okay.
So we talked about the one author, one Kirkwood.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the historical pages because people can go back and reference it, and then you build the archive. Same thing with blog. A lot of the pages that I removed were duplicates. There were a lot of product pages, so we had laryngoscopes. We would have a Miller laryngoscope and a Macintosh laryngoscope. Those two get put together into the Mac and Miller laryngoscopes. Others were products we don't carry anymore, things that are, again, irrelevant. So I took them out or combined.
Anybody else have questions? I offer a very nice B2B technology. Any recommendations or guidance on backlinking? Is this simply putting another blog post or article on my own website, of course, giving credit where due?
Yeah, so backlinking is difficult because you need to get with referral sites that put you on their site. So what that would look like would be a blog post from the top 10 restaurants on the hill. So if someone wrote a blog post that said top 10 restaurants on the hill, you would want to be included in that, and that's a backlink. So you can build out your backlinks by promoting yourself to forums, pages. I believe you can use Help a Reporter Out. I think the people that create blogs for certain industries could use you and promote you from their site and use the backlink. Backlinks do help with SEO, but that's not end all be all. That's only a small fraction of boosting your content. Is there another question that popped up?
No.
No, okay.
Feel free to unmute too and ask any questions as well. How do you feel about hosting a discussion board for the industry?
What discussion board for what industry?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So what I have found in my little niche business to business industry is that a lot of people go back to these discussion boards that have a lot of historical posts, like how do you do this? What do you recommend for that? Seems to get a lot of activity, and I do see some advertising on that. So I thought, hey, would it make a difference if I just opened up some sort of discussion board on my website and invite people to respond to topics that I maybe put in my newsletter? So I didn't know if you had any pluses and minuses on doing something like that.
Well, one thing that I can use as a reference is like YouTube videos, right? They stay there forever. When someone searches on a YouTube video, it will show up even if it's from 15 years ago. And there's been people that I follow on Facebook that get engagement from their videos from 15 years ago. So discussion boards, absolutely. If you can have some sort of forum built into your website that people can post or comment or create your own mini social media just on your website. Yeah, I think that would be great. Especially if you do products, if you sell products, you can have people leave reviews on those products and follow up with them, see how it goes. It doesn't necessarily help with SEO per se, but it does help give social proof for your product. So then when people see that, they see a whole bunch of 5-star reviews or thumbs up or whatever you decide to use, people will be more likely to purchase that product.
Anyone else have questions?
I'll ask another one if you want another one.
Absolutely.
What you went through, Tim, is everything doable by a novice slash self-taught person if you have, decent tech and business skills, or do you feel that a lot of people waste a lot of time and make mistakes if they don't seek expert guidance?
Both. So if it interests you, you can do it yourself. If it doesn't interest you, get someone to do it for you. Because the thing is if you have time, you're a business owner, right?
Correct.
Okay, if you have time to go through your analytics and you have a small website, it can be done by you or a novice. If you have a large website, big company, you're probably best getting someone else to do it because you have more pressing issues. But if you're just starting out or you're in the infancy stages of business, you can look at it once a week for an hour and get a good enough gauge if you can read graphs and charts on what's going on. It would also probably help if you hired like a freelancer or someone to just bounce an idea off of, just to say, this is what I see. I don't know if I'm looking at this correctly. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to look at something and then mismanage it because you're looking at it incorrectly. But you can look at it yourself and get a gauge of what's going on. Clicks going up, impressions going up, or are they going down? And if they're going down, then maybe you just make a couple changes on your website and you move on from there. But the company that I work for, we're $10+ million. We have 400 pages on the website. The president of the company is not looking at our website every day. That's my role. That's where I come in.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Well,
Okay, another question. Thoughts on Google taking up so much space on page 1 with AI search results? Does that significantly impact SEO and organic traffic?
oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. It's AIO, ChatGPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek. It's changing the landscape. Google has just came out yesterday, 2 days ago, last week, and they're experimenting with where to put paid ads above AIO, below AIO, and it's called 0-click results. So when you search and you get an AIO on Google, you get information without clicking on anything, which for SEO people like me is awful because our impressions go down, our clicks go down, but then we get through GA4, we get referral conversions through ChatGPT. So on July 31st, I'll talk more about SEO and AI, but if you have basic SEO fundamentals, you'll show up for AI. AI uses the same crawlers or the same system that Google does. Your site links, robots, TXT files. Those things are what Google uses and what AI is built off of. So yes, it's going to probably tank some of your existing results. You just have to manage that. But the caveat is Google's not going anywhere. They'll find a way to make AIO paid ads. They'll find a way to capitalize or monetize it. So it's not going to go anywhere. You just got to make sure you have the correct SEO.
Anything else?
Come on, guys, don't be shy. There we go.
Everybody just know is just great job. I have so much work to do.
Oh. Yep, that's usually how these things go.
Well, if there are no other questions, thank you for coming. And again, like Tim said, July 31st, we're going to be talking about implementing AI. And so, oh, wait, hold on, back up. Okay, backing up, one last question.
Sure.
Where does it start? What are the top 3 things to make 100% are done? What are the top 3 things to make sure, I assume, like to make sure that you have 100% done?
You're talking rank math, 100%, or SEO and paid ads?
And Denise, do you want to clarify which?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if there are 3 takeaways tonight, like,
Oh,
I hope no one leaves without knowing you gotta have this, this, and this. Even if it's
yes.
one thing, and it should have
So,
said, make sure.
um, first thing, make sure your website's connected to GSC first. If it's not, you can just just type in Google Search Console. It'll ask you to sign in and you can just connect your website pretty easily. It's plug and play. Make sure you're connected to Google Search Console. Second thing would be to check that regularly. Set a calendar reminder for 1 hour, once a week, at minimum, to just check it. If you check it every day, it might be a little too frequent, because you won't get the actual results that you're looking for. But once a week, twice a month, once a month, those types of cadences would be fine. And number 3, if you don't know what you're doing, Google it, search it, read a book, ask me questions. I forgot to put my contact information up there, but if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email or find me on Facebook or LinkedIn and pick my brain. Happy to do that. So I would say those are the 3 things. Is if you don't know where to start, you got to start somewhere and get your site hooked up to Google search. And I forget what the other one was, but yeah.
All right, any other last questions? Okay, well, thank you everybody again for coming and hopefully we'll see you on July 31st.
Thank you.